Hello, this is Lisa Archilla Sims with Bee and Peacock Organizing. And whether you're hiring a professional organizer or doing it yourself, it's really valuable to know how much time your organizing project will take. And I've got a simple method for helping you calculate that very thing. Since most professional organizers charge by the hour, it's really helpful when you're planning your budget to know how much time it's going to take. And if you're doing it yourself, you need to realistically know how much time and your own energy it's going to take for you to allocate to this process. It's so common to start an organizing project and then partway in realize it's a lot more involved than you thought. So knowing the scope of the project ahead of time really helps you pace the process and guard against burnout of both you and your budget. I've come up with a quick way to help you estimate the labor involved in an organizing project based on a visual overlay of the area. It's only a rough guide, but it works pretty well. An area 4 feet wide by 2 feet deep by 8 feet tall translates into roughly 2 hours of organizing. Now I call this the 4-2-8 rule. The 4-2-8 rule is based on 6 assumptions. So the first assumption is that the space is full and that it's general clutter. So like a mix of clothes, linens, personal items, books, toys, sports equipment, things like that. More detailed categories like paperwork, memorabilia, crafting, tools and hardware are going to take more time because you're dealing with more quantity of smaller items, and in the case of paperwork and memorabilia, you're going to have to spend time reading. The second assumption in the 4-2-8 rule is that the labor is based on one person. The third assumption is that you're going to work at an average speed. Your speed will affect the process, but don't let that be a big deal. If you try to hurry through the process to save time and money, you're going to make things overly stressful and less efficient, and it's just not worth it. On the other side, there are times that you may need to go pretty slow. You may have some physical limitations or health issues, or you may be sorting through some pretty emotionally charged things. Give yourself permission to go at whatever pace feels right to you. Okay, our fourth assumption is that the contents of the space will be completely removed, categorized, and culled. This is typically the most time-consuming part of the timeline and the most labor-intensive. You are literally pulling everything out of the space, sorting every item into like categories, and then going through each category to decide what's important to keep. Number 5 is the assumption that after you finish the culling process, you're going to put everything you're keeping back into the space according to your new organizational plan with new structure and new containers if needed. And the 6th assumption of the 4-2-8 rule is that any structural changes are minimal. So if you're just adding one shelving unit or one drawer unit that you have to stop and assemble, you're okay time-wise. But if you're doing something with a bigger scope, like multiple shelving units or multiple drawer units or wall-mounted shelving, you'll need to plan additional time for that. And one additional note is that the 4-2-8 rule does not include time that you or your organizer will spend designing or shopping for organizational product. You can use the 4-2-8 rule on any size space. This sweet little girl's closet took about 4.5 hours. So you can visualize 2 of our 4x2x8 boxes side by side inside the closet. In this garage example, it looks like that back wall would measure to about 4 of our 4x2x8 boxes. And since each 4-2-8 box equals approximately 2 hours of labor, this back wall should be about an 8-hour project. If you have a larger space and clutter in the center of the room, then you can just use your 4-2-8 box as a template and just overlay what you see. You can use the box either upright or laying down on its side. So let's look at the stuff on the floor in front of the wall. We would use 2 of our 4 by 2 by 8 boxes on their side, which would add another 4 hours of labor. So to organize everything you see in this picture would take one person approximately 12 hours. This garage wall is also the perfect example of hidden issues. So remember, I mentioned earlier that some of your categories are going to take longer than others, and paperwork is a big one. Typically, a deep file drawer full of papers takes about an hour to an hour and a half if you have to look at every piece of paper. In this case, that file cabinet on the wall is deep and all of the 4 drawers are full of paper. Plus, the 8 white boxes that you see scattered throughout the area are also full of paperwork. So between the 4 drawers and the 8 boxes in this example, you will need to add about 12 additional hours of labor. So everything you saw in the picture took 12 hours of labor, but now we know that there's a lot of paperwork involved and we've added another 12 hours. So truly everything that you see in that real picture took 24 hours of labor. I want to make an important clarification here. This formula is a tool to help you calculate an average of the total number of hours the project will take, not how long it will take you to look through the contents of each of the 4 by 2 by 8 areas. If you just rearranged the contents in the picture, it wouldn't take 24 hours, or even the 12 hours minus the paperwork. As you can see in this picture of the finished product, there is a lot that has changed on this wall. We moved a refrigerator from another wall to this area, hung wall-mounted shelving, we categorized and culled all the contents, and then arranged everything into new containers with labels. This level of organizing takes time. The 428 rule is designed to help you estimate approximately the total number of hours the project will take. This is just one wall of a garage makeover that I extracted for this video. If you would like to see before and after pictures of the entire project, visit my website, beeandpeacockorganizing.com, and go to the gallery page and then the garage section. And one last takeaway. To be truly organized, you are most likely going to need to purchase organizing product, like containers, bins, shelves, drawers, drawer dividers, hooks, racks. So be sure that you leave room in your budget for materials. I would love to hear your thoughts about the 428 rule. If you found the information in this video helpful, please click like. And if you have questions about the 428 rule or organizing process in general, please leave me a comment. I really do want to know what you think. For more information about the organizing process, how-tos, and product reviews, click subscribe. And if you want more information about me and my organizing services, please visit my website, beeandpeacockorganizing.com. And you can also find me on Facebook and Instagram, where I post weekly about current organizing projects. Thank you so much for watching. Happy organizing!